Hello, friends. I wanted to take a moment away from the fun we usually have on this program to have our very special guest, filmmaker Joshua Reeves, talking about his Long Walk Home film. I really liked it, and not in the way because it's an uplifting film. I think it's just relatable to me because when I was assaulted when I was a really young person, I was not assaulted wearing clothing that was, as people say, asking for it or doing anything that said, "Oh, maybe you could read this the wrong way." And that's what I saw the lead character in his film was not doing either. She was wearing normal clothes, hanging with a friend, not giving signals to anyone. And it's a very real statement of how women of color in the UK are more frequently victims of assault.
Hello, my name's Joshua Reeves. I'm a filmmaker based in Manchester, England.
Your short film has so many themes: racism, sexual assault, abuse from people in powerful positions, personal safety, and probably a good list. What do you want us as the audience to remember?
Long Walk Home, it tackles many different issues from racism, sexual assault to abuse of power, and mainly women's safety at night. And I really want the audience to remember and understand that we're living in a world and a society that we are all faced with dangers and obstacles. And I believe that there's issues that I raise in Long Walk Home that I would like to further discuss, and I want people to be aware of it. And I, of course, want these issues to be prevented, and we can work together in society to try and make things better.
The lead character chooses to walk the rest of her route home alone. Do you hope this film encourages people to change their daily commutes and go with a friend?
Yes, so my main character does choose to walk the rest of the route home. And I do hope the film encourages people to think about the safety of them at night, because in utopia, we would say, yes, we could all would love to be able to walk freely at night and feel safe. And I hope that we can work to a society that people don't feel threatened or scared walking home. But the reality of it is unfortunately there's people, there's evil, there's bad in the world. And sometimes you need to take measures to prevent that. It's sad that you do, but you do. So this film does provide a journey in a young woman's life, and we're seeing the dangers and the worst case scenario that can happen, and hopefully this will allow people to rethink how they would navigate from place to place at nighttime and stay safe. The key thing is to stay safe and try to prevent any danger.
You based the story on crime statistics in your hometown of Manchester. Did you use any of the real stories from crime victims or your own experiences in the film?
So at the end of the film, I did display some alarming statistics. Um, And I did use real stories from the victims and the survivors that I did interview, and also my own experiences from Stop and Search, and then the sexual assault experiences from victims that were really sad. And I feel because I explored so many themes in the film, and I had spoken to a lot of people, and with my own experience together, I allowed the film to be far more authentic and true. And that's what I think made a great film, and it engaged, and it touched the audience that were watching it. And that's why it's been well received.
Of the assault victims I meet in my life, most are men too embarrassed to openly discuss it. In your research about Black people being more likely to be assaulted, what did you learn about male victims?
Yeah, so in my research, and you are right, most men are too embarrassed to openly discuss it, and that's a stigma that we are trying to get past and overcome. But it is tough. It's tough for anybody, and but because my film was based on a female's perspective, the personal research, so the primary research I conducted was all females. I didn't actually speak to any men, and the male perspective of the stop and search kind of assault was from my own experiences. So yeah, that was that. It was really the research was very heavily female dominated in that regard.
How did you make everyone comfortable when filming difficult scenes?
To make everyone comfortable when filming difficult scenes, I needed to speak to the cast and crew and let them understand what was going on and what was going to be in the scene, exactly scene by scene. Of course, everyone had read the script and they knew, okay, when the assault scene is happening, it's happening on that night, and this is what's going on. And there was a shot list. But most importantly, we had a mental health advisor that was present on set that could speak to any cast or crew that had any issues, and that was separate from me. And another main point was to, of course, speak to Stephen, who played Gibbs, and Khalees, who played Stormy, because it was very, very important that they knew what they were about to do, and also that they could stop at any moment and take a break. And we did have breaks. And there was one point where we did stop because it is very intense. We were shooting in the cold, we were outside, it was dark, and it was very physical, mentally and physically drooling. So we just needed to be transparent so everybody was comfortable.
When you pursued this project, how did you write the material to be realistic?
So when I first wrote the script, it was just meant to be a stop and search story from my perspective, my experiences and my friends' experiences when growing up, because I know that a lot of us, including myself, have somewhat PTSD from how much we used to get targeted and victimized. However, when I opened the themes up and opened the world up and the things that I was going to explore as I was watching news stories of it, I was doing research, I started speaking to people, and I wanted to make the story bigger than myself, and bring in bigger issues and themes. So to make it realistic, it was just all about the research, getting people on board, making sure that I had a load of female creatives and also advisors to make sure that I was doing this film justice, because a male writer director, writing a female's perspective, I felt obliged, and I wanted to make it as authentic and as realistic as possible. And in order for me to do that, I needed to speak. I needed to speak to victim survivors. I needed to speak to female creatives, and I needed them on my team so they could guide me and make sure that I was doing it justice and doing a good job. And that's why I think, I've not had any criticism on how realistic it is, because there's key things in there that I know that people firsthand have been through. So in my mind, it makes me feel more comfortable that I'm doing this story justice.
When will your short film be available for everyone to watch, and where?
So Long Walk Home is still doing the festival circuit, and it world premiered at Buff Festival in London a few weeks back, and it's still got a few more festivals that it will be selected for and played at. After that, I'm not too sure where it will sit on. I don't know where I'm going to distribute it. My previous film, Marcus, is on Amazon Prime. So that could possibly be an option. If not, I've been looking and speaking to a few YouTube channels, short film channels that are actually getting quite a lot of viewership and have an audience. So that actually might be a route to go down.